Hey everybody, it's Krista Rizzo here. You're watching Why Am I Yelling? And today we are talking about mistakes when the stakes are high. Uh, I am fresh off of a trip from South Carolina where I had the pleasure of doing a TED talk, a TEDx talk, and I wanted to talk about that experience and let you in on how the process worked for me and how it ultimately all turned out. So I started applying to TED Talks a few years ago randomly. And this last year, I made the decision to really focus on applying to uh, any TED Talk around the world, really, uh, just because I felt like I had a message that I wanted to share. And that's what, TEDx is all about. It's about setting up a community of people who want to share ideas and hopefully inspire others who are attending the TED Talks. So after spending several months applying, I was accepted to give a talk and participate in an event in Andrews, South Carolina on January 25th. And typically, the people that I know who have done talks have had anywhere from 2 to 3 to 4 months to prepare for their talk. And I had, 40 days to do mine, which was fine. I knew what my topic was. I knew what my conversation was going to be. I knew pretty much what the content was going to be. I just had to kind of craft it and turn it into the actual content of the talk. So, uh, the organizers from South Carolina, from Andrews, South Carolina, could not have been more accommodating or wonderful. And quite honestly, for a first time TED Talk, and I think, from any time TED Talk, they really knocked it out of the park with organizing and socializing and communicating and all the things that they did to promote this event. It was really, really well done. They had local restaurants in sampling foods, and they had local artists in doing art installations in the venue where we had it. And they had t-shirts and a step and repeat and pictures, and they just really went above and beyond, as far as I'm concerned, with how they organized and ran the entire event. It was really, really very professional and very, very well done. Top notch. Could not be more proud to be in the class of 2020, the inaugural, the OG class of Andrews, South Carolina TEDx events. And I can see them running for many years going forward because they did such an amazingly beautiful job. So, a shout out to Denisha and Frank McClary and everybody else who was involved in organizing this event, because you did a really beautiful job. And I can speak for myself, but I know that, being in touch with all the other speakers, we all really enjoyed our time there and getting to know one another, and you guys going the extra mile with putting these events together for us prior to and leading up to the event was even more special. So thank you for that. Uh, I was the lucky recipient of the first talk. So I kind of had to break the ice for the evening. And uh, that was not a small feat, I don't think. Um, when I found out I got the talk, I got really nervous because I found out just before the holidays, and we had a lot going on in the holidays. And then after the holidays, everybody in my house got sick. So there was a lot of stuff spiraling and snowballing. And so I really needed to make sure I was doing everything I needed to do to prepare properly for this. So I called a couple of friends who had done TED Talks, and I got all of their information. I went out and I bought the book, and I read the book from cover to cover, and I took notes. Chris Anderson does a great job with his TED book, talking about how to deliver a speech and what your speaking styles are. And I, pulled friends together and rehearsed it in front of them and practiced and workshopped and did all kinds of stuff. So super grateful for my friends who could come out and help with that, because it was really, really helpful for me to make sure that I was getting all the information into the talk that I needed to get into so I could get my message out clearly and in a way that would be well received. And I wanted it to be, engaging and humorous in some parts and serious in the parts where it needed to be. So, and I think that happened. What I will say is there is a such thing as being over prepared. And that is what I think happened to me, because I could recite my talk backwards and forwards by the time I was ready to get up on stage. But the minute I got up on stage, I kind of froze and needed to take a moment to step back and step away and kind of restart myself. And there definitely were a few pieces that I left out of the talk because as I started to get going, um, the audience participated a little bit and I kind of changed some words around. And I think that didn't trip me up, but it kind of made the talk a little bit different than what I had anticipated it going to be. So at the beginning of my talk, I kind of flubbed my lines a little bit and the clicker wasn't working the right way. So I had to kind of adjust that for my slides. So hopefully we can fix that in the video. But here's what I wanted to say. When I walked off the stage, I was feeling a little bit deflated because it didn't go how I was envisioning it was going to go. It wasn't she knocked it out of the park and oh my God, everybody was standing on their feet, giving an ovation, which is not what I expected, but I expected it to be a little bit smoother than what it was. And I was feeling a little defeated and a little deflated. I was the first speaker. I didn't know, what was coming next. And most of the people that were getting on stage had been speaking for longer than I have. So I figured more experience, more engaging, more dynamic, more whatever. But here's the thing. I think everybody messed up a little bit because they all confessed to it afterwards. And I think that I got my point across. And after the event was over, and even during the event, when we had intermissions or time in between the speakers, there were people coming up to me, and congratulating me on my talk and thanking me for the stories that I shared and the message that I shared and appreciating that I was being authentic and vulnerable. And I think that my biggest takeaway from this event was, so many people prior to and leading up to it had we talked about it, and this is such a big deal, and it can be a career changer and a life changer and all of these things. And when it doesn't kind of go your way, you feel like, oh my God, is this going to be able to help me move forward in a way that I want it to? And I'm hoping that, yes, that is still the case. But quite honestly, my experience trumps my delivery. I had the opportunity to meet some really fantastic, wonderful people and get to partner with them in an experience that only the 10 of us can share. And for that, I will be forever grateful. And I will be grateful for the fact that I was chosen for this event because this was the one that I should have been at. And the topic was appropriate, and the event topic was appropriate. And it really was something that sat well with me and touched my heart. So I just want to say this. If you have ever felt like you have been defeated by something that you thought you were going to do better at, or, passing a test or getting a job or, mending a relationship or whatever it is, sit back when you've gone through that experience and just take a minute to digest it all. I could have jumped on here the next day and been like, oh my God, that was terrible. But quite honestly, it really wasn't. It was a really big learning experience for me. It was a very worthwhile event for me. And I know that there's going to be a lot of really great opportunity that comes out of this for me. The message was clear, and um, I hope that the video is great and can, project the message that I wanted to portray. But don't get down on yourself if that's something that happens to you, because you're in whatever moment you're in it for a reason. And I was in it because I had a message to share. And I hope that that message can um, spread. And I hope that that message can resonate with just one person. And if it did, then I've done my job. And after the event, several people came up to me and appreciated that my beginning was not so perfect. I actually had one person come up to me and said, I thought your beginning was the best part because it proved to the audience who was looking for confirmation that we're all human, that you're human, that you didn't get up and like knock it out of the park and walk off and be like, peace out and mic drop. Like you showed your vulnerable side and your authenticity and you stood up there and you owned it and you kept going, which is something that I tell you guys all the time. If you're feeling down, if you're feeling like you're struggling, just find a place to keep going. And when you do that, wonderful things happen. They might not happen in the moment, but they happen. And that's how I feel like this experience happened for me. It wasn't perfect, but it ended up being exactly what it needed to be when I needed it to be exactly what it was. So I'm grateful for that opportunity. I'm grateful and I'm thankful for how it all turned out in the way that it went. And I really can't wait to see what it looks like as a finished product. And I think we're going to have to wait like 6 to 8 weeks. But as soon as it's out, I will share it good, bad, ugly, left, right, indifferent, because you guys know me and that's who I am and what I do. I share and I open my life and my heart and my soul to you guys because I want to make sure that you guys are all doing the same and you're getting something out of it. You're feeling inspired. You're feeling like you can go tackle what you need to tackle and you are getting a piece of information from me that is helpful for you and you can pass that on to people that you love. So if you're struggling or if you've been through something recently where you weren't excited about the outcome, I just encourage you to sit on it and be with it for a moment and really think about all the good things that came out of it and be grateful for those moments. And then think about the things that you would have done differently and use that as a learning lesson for the next time because that's exactly what I'm going to do. I hope you guys all have a fantastic evening and we will be back here soon. Check us out on Friday for Why Am I Yelling Live. Bye.